Hello. This video is one part of a series of videos that will walk through the setup of Cisco's Business Edition 6000 or BE6K. In this walkthrough, I will go through the setup of Contact Center Express. So the first time connecting to CCX after install, you're going to log in with your administrator account, and it's going to bring you to a setup wizard. Since this is a fresh install, we're going to choose that and click Next. So now you put in the IP address of your communications manager as well as the Axle user admin. This can be the admin account or account that has standard Axle API access. Okay, now we're going to upload the license file. We have demo licenses that are available to us on the installation media. There's 4 of them. Each one is good for 30 days. We're going to go ahead and use the premium license file. And we're going to click Next. Okay, so the license file has been validated and it's good to go, so we'll hit Next. And now the CCX components are activating. This does take a bit of time for them all to activate, but with the beauty of video, we can go ahead and skip right through it. And now they're all activated. And we'll hit Next. Since this is the first node in the cluster, it automatically makes that the publisher, so these are automatically checked for that. We'll hit Next. And now we're going to create our JTAPI and RMCM users. The Axle user is already filled in from a previous step we just did. So if we scroll down here, we're going to go ahead and see the CTI managers that are available, and we're going to move that over to the selected CTI manager. For our user, our JTAPI user, we're going to just make it JTAPI. Put a password in. Then we'll scroll down to the RMCM subsystem. Do the same thing, move that over to selected CTI manager, and we're going to create a user ID of RMCM with the same password. And we're going to hit Next. For the number of HR sessions and recording count, we're just going to make it 3. We've only got a couple users in this demo. We're going to hit Next. For IVR language, we're going to use US for group default and country specific. And then we'll hit Next. We'll go ahead and click OK on here, just telling us to download the desktop client. And the language takes a bit too, so we're going to head fast forward through that. Okay, so CCX has pulled the user list from Communications Manager. We've got a couple of users. We have to choose at least one as an administrator, because once this wizard is done and you go back to log in, you can no longer log in as the admin account. So we're going to go ahead and use user 1 as the administrator to log in with, and we're going to click Finish. And it pulls up a page. It tells you all the things that you've done, everything that's activated, and everything looks good to go. It does tell you to please close your web browser now, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go into Communications Manager and configure it for CCX. So we're going to add a line to each of the phones. You go to Device Phone as you saw, click Find, and then we're going to go to the first phone. Then we're going to go to line 2, and we're going to add a new DN to be specific for CCX. So we're going to put a 5001 for the line number. We're going to give it a name. And then we'll scroll down here to line settings. And we're going to have a caller ID. We're going to make that Acme Sales. The line text label, we're just going to make it Acme Sales. I'll put 5001 so I can tell which line it is. And we'll put an external phone number mask in there for 5000, which is basically the hunt pilot of the main number that everybody calls into the contact center. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down to make a few more changes. We're just going to go ahead and change the maximum number of calls to 2. And the busy trigger, we're going to make it 1. And then we'll go ahead and save. Then we'll go back to the second phone we have in the system. We'll go phone and CIPC2. Go to its second line. I'm going to create a new DN for it. It's going to be 5002. No partition. There's no partitions in this setup. We're going to give an alerting name. And then we'll scroll down to the line again. Modify the display, caller ID. Line text label. Same as phone 1. This time it's going to be 5002. And then we're going to put the same external number mask. And everything looks good. We'll go ahead and click Save. Alright, so we've got our 2 line numbers done. We're going to go ahead and associate these 2 lines with each user. So we're going to go to End User. I'm going to click Find. And we've got user 1 and user 2, so we'll modify user 1 first. We'll scroll down to the directory number association section. We're going to change the primary extension to be 3001 and the IPCC extension to 5001. We'll save that. Now we'll go back to the list of users and do the same thing for user 2. So we'll scroll down. Primary extension will be 3002 and IPCC will be 5002. We'll save that. Okay, so we're going to go into the application users now, and we're going to modify the RMCM application user. We're going to give it control over our agent desk phones, CIPC1, CIPC2. So we'll select each one and move it down to controlled devices, and we'll click Save. Now we're going to go ahead and create a phone service. Go into Device, Device Settings, then Phone Service. This phone service is going to allow the agents to automatically log in with one button. So we're going to go ahead and name it CCX Login. Simple enough. And the service URL I have pasted in here, and you can see it on your screen. We'll change the IP address to match the CCX server. You can find this on Cisco's website. We're going to enable it and click Save. Now we're going to add some parameters to this phone service. So we're going to click New Parameter. And the first parameter we're going to create is the extension. And these parameters have to be exactly as shown. So you have to have a capital E, small x, small t. Click Save. We're going to copy this. Create another parameter. This one's going to be ID, and again it has to be all uppercase as shown here. It will not work. So ID. Click Save, and then we'll create one more parameter. Copy that. This one's going to be for the password. Again, got to match PWD with a capital P. And since this is a password, we'll go ahead and check this box right here to mask the contents when typing. Let's save. Actually, we can hit save and close. Okay, so everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our phones and subscribe them to the service we just created. So we'll go to Device, Phone. We'll go to CIPC1. And we're going to go to the related links and choose Subscribe, Unsubscribe Services. Click on Go. And we're going to select the service we just created, which was CCX Login. Hit Next. Alright, now we're going to fill it in to be specific to this phone. So our extension number for CIPC1 is 5001. The user ID is user1. And then our password, which is masked because we checked that box earlier. So we'll subscribe it. Click Save. Alright, we're good to go. We'll close that out. And we'll do the next phone. So let's go to device, phone, CIPC2, go back to subscribe, unsubscribe, and then we'll choose the CCX login again. And next, this extension, remember, is 5002. ID is going to be user2, and then we'll put our password in. And subscribe. Good. Save. Close this window out here. Okay, so that completes the Communications Manager config. We'll go ahead and open up a browser to our CCX. Again, remember the login is going to be user1 this time, not admin as you logged in the first time. You no longer can log in as admin once you go through that first initial wizard. So we're going to click login. And since we are using a demo license, you see we have 29 days remaining, so that's okay. We're going to go ahead and click OK on that. And the first thing we're going to do is, like we do with all systems, is we're going to reduce our dependency on DNS. So we'll go to System Server, click on the host name here, and change the host name to its IP address to eliminate our dependency on DNS. So let's save. And we'll OK on the warning. Okay, so we're going to modify user 1. We're going to give them some capabilities. We're going to go to Tools, User Management, User View. This also checks to see and make sure that you have your IPCC extension set in Communications Manager. If you didn't have that set, you would not get any users here. So let's click on user 1. We'll scroll down to the capabilities, and we're going to make him a supervisor, and we're going to give him reporting capabilities. Then historical reporting, we're just going to give him ICD and update that. And you can see that it's updated here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and create some skills and things. So we're going to use a wizard for that. We're going to go into RMCM wizard and choose add skill. We're going to create a skill name of sales. Click next. And since that's the only skill we want to add, we'll go ahead and click cancel here. It moves us on to the next screen. We'll go ahead and create a resource group for sales. If you're doing skills-based routing, you really don't need a resource group because best practice says you don't need to use one. We only want to create this one here, so we'll hit cancel. And now we'll go into the user configuration. So we'll click next. So here's the user screen. We went earlier, we added these capabilities. We probably could have done that here, but we'll go ahead and click next since we already did this. And we'll go ahead and our resources, we'll click on user 2. We're going to assign him the skill of sales and leave him as competence level of 5. User 1, we're going to go ahead and add the skill of sales to him as well. And then give him a competence level of 10. So next. So we're done here. So we'll go ahead and click next. Okay, we're going to create a contact service queue now. So we're going to click add new. We're going to give this a name of sales. And then everything else we're going to leave as defaults. So we'll click next. You can choose longest available. You have a list of things you can do, least skilled, most skilled. We're going to go ahead and just stay with longest available. The required skill for this is going to be sales. Minimum competence level is going to stay at 5. I'm going to say next. That's the only service queue we're going to create, so we're going to go ahead and click next. We'll go ahead and create a new team for these 2 users. It's going to be the sales team. So we'll put sales here. Supervisor, we'll make user 1 the supervisor. The resources we have are both user 1 and user 2 and the sales CSQ. Looks good. Hit next. Okay, so that completes the RMCM wizard. We're going to go into the application wizard now by going to this button here, which brings us right into the application configuration wizard. You could get to this wizard by going to the wizards menu here and choosing application wizard and then description of steps, which is what you see right here. So we're going to hit next. Okay, so we're going to use default scripts here, so we don't have another one to upload, so we'll go ahead and click next. For prompt management, we'll go ahead and click next as well. We'll keep the defaults. Grammar management, same thing, we'll click next. Document management, same thing, click next. Okay, so now we're going to create an application. So we're going to click next. And then we're going to give it a name of, guess what? Yes, sales. ID, we'll just make that 99. Max number of sessions, we'll just say 5. For the script, we're going to use a default ICD script. You can edit that, or you can just keep it as it is right now. CSQ, we're going to check this box, and we're going to use the CSQ that we created earlier. So that is sales. Everything else looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and click next. And we only want to create one application for now, so we'll go ahead and click OK. I guess you could have hit cancel there. And then we'll hit exit. Alright, our application is done. We're going to create some CTI ports now to do some call control. So we're going to go into Unified CM Telephony Call Control Group. And then we're going to click Add New. For description, we're going to go ahead and create it as CCX CTI port. We're going to create 3 CTI ports. Everything looks good there. We'll do a prefix of CCX. Starting directory number, we'll go ahead and make that 5050. And there's no device pools, calling search spaces, or anything in our configuration, so we'll click Show More. There's more configuration down here that you can do. Voicemail, AAR group, alerting name, call pickup, different configurations that's hidden. But we'll go ahead and create a display name. So Acme Call Center. And we'll put the external phone mask of 5,000. We'll click Add. Okay, our CTI ports will be created on Communications Manager, 3 of them. Next thing we're going to do is go to Applications, Applications Management, and we're going to add a trigger to the sales application we created earlier. So we'll click Add New Trigger. It's going to be a CM Telephony trigger. We'll click Next. And we'll click OK on this pop-up. The directory number is going to be 5,000. So this is the main number that's going to be called when they call in. Language has got to be English. Device name is going to be sales, and we'll just put a description here as Acme Sales. Call control group is what we just created. Choose that one, CCX CTI port. It's inbound. Click the Show More button. There's some other things that you can configure down here. One thing that makes you configure is makes you move it over here, the dialog group. And if you scroll down, you've got a place for partition, calling search spaces, things like that. We don't have any of those set up. If you do, you need to make sure that's configured. And we'll configure the display and external phone number mask. And click Add. Okay, so it's created the trigger for 5,000, and the last thing we need to do is restart the CCX service by going to CCX Serviceability, clicking Go, logging in as user 1 now. And we'll go to the Tools menu, Control Center, and we'll select next to Cisco Unified CCX Engine, and we'll click Restart. Okay, in a minute or so, these servers will be back up in service and you'll be ready to take calls. And that is it for the basic configuration of Contact Center Express, which brings us to the end of this video. In the next video, I'll walk through the setup of Unified Presence.